Hello everyone, and welcome to another horrific review. We're back as we continue our look into the Hammer horror franchise with Scars of Dracula, directed by Roy Ward Baker. A young man is murdered while spending the night in Count Dracula's castle, prompting his brother to come to the small town where all the traces end to look for him. Alright everyone, we are back with another Hammer horror, and this was a strange one. People keep raving about this movie as if it's one of the better Draculas or one of the best ones, but to be honest, it looks good. I'll give it that. Christopher Lee actually has a few lines of dialogue, but still not enough. In my opinion, he's a wasted character in his own movies, which is very strange. But at least he's not just hissing and cowling about, he's a bit more to him in this one, which I appreciate. Pretty sure he appreciates it too. Probably getting sick of doing these at this point. I don't think he made that a secret. We have a very young Dennis Waterman, one of the main protagonists, which is cool, and Patrick Troutman playing Cove, which is another strange one because obviously we had Cove from Dracula Prince of Darkness. There's no resemblance to the original character. He doesn't act the same way. The Cove in Dracula Prince of Darkness was a far superior character. He was a better familiar, had more purpose to him. Patrick Troutman was a bit of a, simpering idiot. Yeah, wasn't fussed on him. There seems to be an attempt to inject comedy into this, and to be honest, it really didn't fit. It felt forced. So there were a few scenes, like with the policeman, Patrick's character, like I said, his version of Cove was a bit comical. There's bits at the start. We're introduced to Simon as the young scallywag, and it almost descended into Benny Hill type farce, which for a Hammer, no. With Michael Ripper back as the same barman character from Dracula Has Risen from the Grave, and it's essentially carrying on from the previous two films. So if you remember the last movie, Taste the Blood of Dracula, with that very strange scene at the end where it essentially turned into a 1970s church and Dracula fell through and just died for no reason. Well, since the events of that last movie, nothing's changed. His cloak's just lying there, the blood, the dried blood, not a whisper of wind, hasn't blown anywhere. And then we'll have a bat. Oh, God, the bats. They've got these huge bats models, and I mean they look awful. There's no if buts or maybes. These things don't look good. But this bat comes with blood in its mouth and drips. We realise that Dracula has dominion over beasts, so he still exists, spiritually, I suppose, and he's got the bats after quite a bit of time. They essentially come and rescue him with a drop of blood. Apparently that's all it takes to resurrect a fully desiccated vampire, but hey ho, plot needs to happen. The storytelling in this is the weakest part. It has all the look of a Hammer horror. It has the atmosphere, it has the sets, it has quite a few of the actors trying their best with what they're given. But this plot, the way it's so contrived just to get character from point A to point B, is slightly bordering on ridiculous. So needless to say, wasn't impressed. It started off with a good idea, the bat doing what it did. I understand maybe early special effects can't really bring us the Dracula in a way with a real bat or various things. Okay, I can forgive that. And the villagers basically get up to take revenge once Dracula comes back because somebody's carrying a fair maiden who's been bitten, and the villagers have had enough, so they go to burn the castle down. Even the way that was done was very contrived, and once again, Patrick Troughton's Cove character was just a joke. The good part was, though, Dracula taking revenge on the village, so they all sent the women to the church. They went up to burn down Dracula's castle, and Dracula took his revenge because he killed all the women and children in the village, just left the men, so that was it. There's almost a truce after that of you stay away from me, I stay away from you, and then that's what said we would go to the main sort of storyline. So a few years passed or something, we're at this birthday party of Sarah. She's in a relationship with Paul, but she kind of wants the bad boy who's Simon, and Simon's fooling around and being a scallywag, and like I said, it was just a bit of a joke. And he's busy having it off with the burgomaster's daughter, who catches him in this ridiculous scene, and it just ends in farce. And then the horses, they bolt. These are trained carriage horses, but they bolt and they take him to another village, miles away. It just doesn't make sense. And he doesn't turn around and walk back the way he came. He just walks on to the nearest village, and I suppose the plot needs to happen. We meet the barmaid Julie, and she immediately invites Simon in. He's about to invite her up to her bed and all that kind of stuff. And there's where we see Michael Ripper is it's the same village. They all close up at dark, and it's hard to get invested in this one. I think that's why I'm having a struggle here with words. This one's hard to get invested in. It just felt lazy. It almost feels like they don't care. like they're just doing this because they feel they have to. I think that's the sense I'm getting from this movie, is they're just, Simon needs to go to the castle, he needs to end up in the castle, so we'll have this contrived series of events. Simon ends up in the castle, meets Dracula. Dracula actually says a couple of lines for once, and yeah, that's it. That's the end of him. Cut to the scene, and Paul's coming with Sarah because he takes Sarah with him to search for his brother, because that's what you do. These people are dressed like city folk, Kleisberg or something, the name of the city, but they're dressed like city folk, but they're get out into the wilderness, the country, and just hopping in the back of a carriage and then just hopping off, and no real plan. But because they need to get to the village too, because they need to get to the castle, it just happens. And Sarah needs to go too. And oh yeah, when Paul gets dispatched, he had a little picture, a portrait. He's a photographer, and took it of Sarah. And of course, Cove gets obsessed by it because yeah, that's what you do. And yeah, that's so the plot can happen. So Dracula can see the picture and then get obsessed with Sarah as well. And yeah, this all happens. The cross saves Sarah that she's wearing, so that's that. And Clove refuses to take it off to help his master, betrays him essentially, so the plot can happen, so they can get away and drag this movie out. That's basically all this is. There's just a lot of contrivance just to get the runtime. Very annoying. It just feels like a waste of effort. He has another vampire, Tanya, with him, and he just randomly kills her for no reason, just to show that he's evil. Like, why would you create another vampire and then not want her to feed? Did he want to feed him? Simon? And they're two distinctive characters. Like, Paul's played by Dennis Waterman, who, very young Dennis Waterman at this point, and obviously know him as an actor a long time. But the two are interchangeable characters. It's just one of them things that, like I said, because of the contrivance of the plot, you're just like, oh right, yeah, you just don't care. Julie, the barmaid, I don't know why she wasn't fired. Like, she's the plot device, the exposition device that tells all the secrets that everyone else is keeping. And yeah, she would have been fired like at least 3 times. Same as Clove, actually. Why does Clove make it to the end of the movie? He's betrayed his master at least 4 different occasions, and we'll see what Dracula's like with other vampires, so why would the familiar be spared? Meh, who knows. They're talking about the fire, but there's no sign of it in the castle, so where they burned down, it just looks good as new. All very strange, the way they've went about it. What else? Yeah, Julie ends up being one of the victims for reasons, because like we needed to see it happen. And yeah, the villagers finally decide, well, not so much the villagers, but the priest decides he's going to help Paul avenge his brother and destroy Dracula, and then doesn't. He walks him up to the certain point, and yeah, he may as well not have been in the movie, to be honest. It didn't really serve any purpose apart from to tell Paul to make a stake, but that turned out to be useless too. Another annoying thing the film does is it switches between day and night within scenes. Somebody will step out of the door, it's the middle of the morning, then it's nighttime again by the time they step inside, and vice versa. And like the same scene, them walking at the start, it goes from day to night to day again, and they're only walking up the road. I know that it was shot probably at different times, but oh my god, they'll not take notes and plan their nighttime shots and their daytime shots. It really is annoying, and that's the thing. If you're not enjoying the movie, if you don't feel like they're trying to entertain you, I've always said this, and if you just feel like they're putting out a movie for the sake of putting out a movie, then you start to nitpick. And as I'm just saying loads of stuff, and god, those bats, yeah, they're horrible. They use them about 6 or 7 times throughout the movie, and they don't look any better. I think there's 2 bat models, and they keep switching around them, or maybe just one. But yeah, that doesn't look good. It's not convincing. And no amount of film grain can hide it. The other thing, Dracula has this chamber that he can only get to. Simon goes down there first, so obviously we find out what happened to him. Paul goes down later on in the movie, and then we find Simon, and he's basically hung up. You know, he's dead, and he's like stuck to a set of antlers or something. Surely he would have just thrown him out the window. Like, once again, it's very contrived, but the biggest sin this movie made was the end. Like, when it comes to the final battle, Sarah's no use, Paul's no use against them, and it's a bolt of lightning that randomly kills Dracula. Paul throws his iron spike, misses Dracula's heart. Dracula's about to throw it back, and then the lightning just comes out of nowhere and strikes him for no reason, and then he just bursts into flames, falls off the edge. The end. And that's the movie. Really disappointed in this one, because is this one I remember? Not really. I don't think this one was shown as much, but you see its name pop up and you see people absolutely lauding it, saying it's the best thing, the best Dracula, and I'm sorry, but no. It just felt lazy. I would actually argue that Taste the Blood of Dracula was a better movie. It had a better premise, and maybe knowing the story behind the studio and what happened, why it ended up the way it did. But at least they were trying to make something. This just felt like, yeah, we need another Christopher Lee Dracula movie for reasons. That's it. That was a shame. Hopefully our next one's better. But there you go. There's that. Let me know what you think in the comments. And until next time, keep up to date with the channel. do the clicky things, and remember to keep it creepy, keep it horrific.